Here are 3 optimization hacks plus a bonus one, so you'll want to stick around to the end of the video if you want to find out how you can scale your campaigns profitably using these 3 simple hacks. Okay, so let's dive right into the video. Optimization hack number 1, custom audiences and audience exclusions. Okay, this is very important for business owners who do have a database. They have a strong email list, a large email list that they can leverage, and they maybe you're already leveraging on Facebook, right? On Google, the story is no different. You can import these customer lists by following a template inside Google Ads. Now, the biggest thing here is that you have to keep in mind there are certain requirements. Some of these requirements are, 1, you have to have good history of policy compliance on the account. 2, a good payment history on the account. And 3, you need to have at least $50,000 in spend in the last 90 days in order for this to be enabled on your account. And so you can use it to retarget these customers as well as auto-generating similar audience from your customer list, from your email list. Let's talk about custom audiences for a second. So why should you use customer match on Google if you can? Well, Google has been improving their first-party data, and with all the changes going on with privacy, with the iOS 14.5 updates, people opting out of this, and us for advertisers, you guys know it's been a challenge as of late in the last 6 months in this landscape. Then customer match list is going to be, you can call it a little bit of your safeguard in terms of retargeting to your list and creating more audiences that you can basically market to, right? That are similar to your customer avatar that's already dialed in, right? Now, one of the things that you want to do is exclude certain audiences depending on the stage that you are, depending on what you're trying to accomplish with the campaign. So let me explain a little further. So let's say you have an offer, they want to book a call with you and you sell them a high ticket service, let's say, okay? It's a book a call funnel. So people get into this funnel from your YouTube ad. Now, there's gonna be YouTube ad viewers, right? You can see that inside the custom segments, you can look at the YouTube ad viewers, right? For the last 30 days, last 7 days, last 3 days, and you can actually exclude these audiences, right? You can add those into the exclusions for your audience segment. What that's gonna do is gonna allow you to combat ad saturations or audience fatigue, because you're telling Google that you don't wanna show this ad to people that have already seen your videos. You wanna show this ad to more potential people within that audience, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna show you in my screen here how this actually operates, where the different settings are, so things can be a little bit more familiar to you. So let's dive into my screen really quick here. If we go to Tools and Settings, we go to Audience Manager, this is where you're gonna see your data segments, okay? We meet requirements, so now we can do a customer list, which is you're basically uploading all your emails, information from your customers, correct? And number 2, this is a really important one, dial in your demographic avatar, right? So your customer avatar, make sure you have that dialed in before you move forward with number 3. Part of it is testing. We have to test and see what's getting us the best metrics. Understand your goals, your KPIs. Are you hitting them? Why aren't you hitting them, right? Look at your campaigns. What demographics are generating more conversions? Which ones are generating the lowest cost per conversion? Which ones are generating the most leads that are converting later down in the funnel? Those are things that can be tracked. And these are questions that you need to ask yourself, right? Like, what's the household income that's generating higher results for you, or more consistent results? And I wouldn't even call this a hack, but one of the biggest things and indispensable things that you need to do is really dial in your customer avatar. If you don't do that, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a lot of wasted ad spend due to receiving unqualified people into your funnel, right? That don't have maybe the funds to go through the offer, or they're not really that interested in that offer, right? They may have some sort of interest, but the idea of dialing in a demographic avatar is so that way you don't have to even think about that later on as you're testing more ads. So, and it's the same thing with the demographic data. You have to review it to understand what's gonna get you the best results and use that for future campaign testing, right? So it'll evolve from, you can do broad targeting, right, at the start, and then you can do 1 week's data of testing. You spend $300 a day, and you're gonna have enough data where it'll tell you, hey, that 18 to 24 age range, exclude that on the next run because it wasn't really generating anything, right? All right, and optimization hack number 3 is you wanna constantly test winning creative versus untested, right? So basically a control versus the challenger, right? I'm sure you as a media buyer, you have other ways of calling these tests, right? The winner versus loser, or winner versus untested. And then, you know, you have now data saying, hey, this new ad beat my control or outperformed my control in certain metrics, right? In CPCs, right? And CTR, and as well as conversions or cost per conversion. So those are the things that you want to look for. That is the number one. And I know if you're an advanced media buyer, you're probably thinking, duh, Andres, yes, that's what we do. But other people, you'd be surprised how many people actually do, you know, 5 or 6, 7, 10 ads in one campaign. They let it run. I mean, I know it's kind of like the Facebook methodology, but we're not talking about Facebook here. It may very well be that after 7 days, 14 days, or 30 days data, you already have maybe 1 or 2 winning ads in your account. And those ads can serve as your control to test with the demographic that you already dialed in, if that makes sense, right? So everything is a step by step. So if you have this winning creative, now you have a winning demographic with this creative, let's try this demographic with another creative. So yes, you have to continue doing audience research. You have to create audiences, test more ads, but do it in a organized manner so the data is not skewed and you don't have too many variables in it, and just keep it simple, right? One campaign, one audience, 2 ads. There's gonna be at times that the budget's gonna be allocated evenly, right? So one way that you can do that though is, again, you take one audience, one ad, and that's your one campaign right there. So that's untested ad, but you do it with the same settings, right? The same targeting options. You're not changing anything. All you're changing is the ad. That's it. So those are the things that you need to isolate. You have to do some split testing. At times you can get into the nitty gritty of a winning ad and say, okay, well, this ad is winning like this, but what if we use this different copy? Remember, with the responsive, you now have more characters to write out some copy, right? And people do read the copy on these responsive ads. So that's another thing, is you can test those theories. Okay, and finally, your bonus hack. Are you ready? Here you go. Funnel split testing with little media buying. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but believe me, it works, okay? So we have certain strategies for testing this, certain philosophies and methods, but everybody tests different funnels, right? Usually you have those people that are split testing headlines all the time, and you're trying to increase your opt-in rate that will in turn increase your, let's say, click to sale conversion rate, correct? Just because of the numbers. You have to know your numbers, obviously, very important. But the funnel split testing is, A, you have an offer that's not converting. The way you get to A, it's not converting, or B, you're trying to scale. You already have a proven funnel, but now you're doing some optimizations to make it better, and you want to compare it to the control, right? And you want to just kind of put a messaging to the test, or you change the video, the VSL, right? So you get where I'm coming from. There's different ways that you can funnel test. Now, the little media buying, this is the part that I just want to be clear on, is once you have the demographic dialed in, right? So going back to number 2 here, and you have a winning creative, you now have winning audiences that are converting well for you, then now it's time to test, right? But things are still not working. Let's do some funnel testing, okay? We do some funnel testing, but we do little media buying in the sense that we're not gonna be, testing a whole bunch of ads, a whole bunch of audiences at once. No, we wanna give this test a specific amount of budget and importance, right? And not have skewed data, right? So the ideal way of doing this, and a lot of people watching this might be using ClickFunnels, right? So ClickFunnels has the feature of split testing however you want, right? 50%, 30%, typically people will do the 50-50 against, this lander that has this headline with bold, or this headline is different, the copywriting. Now, you don't want to go in there and change all the variables with your media buying, because that will skew the data. So the way it would work is use the same audiences and the same ads with the funnel and send it to the URL where you have the split test going. And that way it's unbiased, right? And you can see after 100 clicks, or after 200, 300 clicks, however, whatever threshold you want to give it, which one has a higher opt-in rate, or higher sale conversion rate, or higher book call conversion rate. Simple as that. And basically go off of that. Once you find that out, now you can continue with your media buying testing, because now you have a winning funnel, right? A higher converting funnel that you can basically continue your media buying to dial it in and scale eventually once the performance is meeting your KPI goals. Does that make sense? Hope it does. All right, guys, that was it. Thank you so much for watching the video, sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe and check out this other video here that we have on the left side. You might be able to get some more nuggets from that one as well. Thanks again. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications to get notified once we drop some more YouTube ad knowledge for you. We'll see you on the next one.